This is Psychic Development and Channeling class number 13, and today we are going to be learning how to go deeper, more deeply into the trance state and into the channeling trance state in particular. I am so excited that you are here. I want to just give you a reminder, if you'd like to connect with me, communicate with me, please use your text chat box at the bottom, and you can put send to Liah Howard, and that'll ensure that I get your message and it doesn't go to everybody else. Okay. Deepening the trance state. So by now, class 13, each of you should be practicing, having some really wonderful experiences with connecting with spirit, and you are ready to go even deeper so that you can help more people, help yourself, and live a more fulfilling life. We're just going to do a quick review of the homework from last week. Last week we had a class on mediumship. Answer a few questions, and then we will have our discussion about going deeper into trance, and we'll have another homework assignment for this week. Remember, the homework assignments are very important for you to follow through. Each week I give you suggested reading, suggested YouTubes, information that you can access and really sort of augment and complement the program that I'm doing with you. Here's a journal. So for last week, you were supposed to do some journaling, write about your feelings regarding death and the afterlife. This is important as we are working personally with our own path and with professionally with clients, that there will be people who will come who have health issues that are very tentative, that will have loved ones on the other side that they want to connect with. So we want to get very, very comfortable with death. And you're also supposed to practice actually getting a message from a loved one on the other side. So I'm wondering how that went. I hope it went well. If anybody wants to put a little note down there, love to see that. Okay, here's questions and comments. Here's the first one is a comment from a student. I practiced getting a message from my grandmother, Bubby, and when I opened my eyes, a monarch butterfly flew by, and that was one of her favorite things. That's what I call a sign from the universe. Sort of a confirmation. We don't have to get signs of confirmation, but it sure helps when we do. My channeling teacher, Anne, is very connected. Whenever I see an owl, I think of her, and I mentioned early on in this class, I think class 1, that before I started the very first webinar, that I saw an owl right as I was pumping gas. So this monarch butterfly definitely was a gift from Bubby, and it is a sign that she is excited. You know, our loved ones on the other side get really excited when we're making ourselves available to connect with them. So that is pretty awesome. So number 2 is, how can I know what spirit I am connecting to? Are there certain questions that I can ask? Well, just as in life, when you're getting to know someone, you ask them their name. You would start with, hi, I'm so-and-so, what's your name? You get their name first, and then you get a sense of where they're from. So you might get a sense of what dimension they're from, what dimension they're residing on. Sorry, the neighbor's parrot is going off. I'm going to shut the window. Okay, that's a little better. He likes to come over and visit. Anyway, so you would ask what dimension they're from. You would ask what your connection to them is. You would ask how you can work together. You would ask really just specific, just like having a conversation. So when you feel tuned into a guide, you can ask, show me visually what you look like. Maybe you'll get a sense of if you shared a past life, or get a sense of what dimension they're in, what their purpose is for you. We have guides that come to us for many different reasons. You might have a healing guide, you might have a writing guide, you might have a inspiration guide, meditation guide. So ask them, what are they there for, and how can you work together with them? The more questions really that you can ask in terms of clarifying, the more information you're going to get. And our guides don't mind that. They like that. They like it when we're excited and we want to connect and communicate and get to know them. Here's a beautiful quote. It says, last night I lost the world but gained the universe. Oh, I guess I have to shut all the windows. Hang on just a second. He's coming closer. Bird is coming. I'm going to shut one more window on this side. I apologize. Okay. There. So when we go into the trance state, into the really deep channeling trance state, we lose touch with the external world, but we gain this amazing universe inside. Now, I'm somebody who have not traveled a lot in the world in terms of other countries and airplanes and things like that, but in terms of the universal internal traveling, I have done a lot of that through many, many different dimensions and connected with a lot of amazing experiences in that way. So this picture kind of represents like leaving the earthly realm behind and looking at things from a much larger perspective, really the perspective of our soul. And that's what we're going to be learning about today. So restlessness of the mind, this is the main impediment to deepening the meditative or trance state. And we have to become aware of our thoughts first. If we're not aware of them, then we're not really going to know what our state of mind is in that moment. So we want to quiet the mind and go inside. Right now I'm sending some peace to that birdie. He sounds a little distressed. His mommy may have just left. He may be worrying about her, so I'm just going to send him some peace. We are going to review meditation because meditation is the doorway into that deep channeling state. Meditation is the doorway into our inner realm, which is where we connect with our guides, our higher self, our loved ones on the other side, our spirit helpers, and the ascended masters and angelic realm. So we first want to learn to relax, and that's really relaxing the body, relaxing the mind, and then we have to develop a concentration, the ability to focus on one thing at a time. Because when we're receiving all this information, when we focus in, it becomes very, very clear. And then the expansion, this is where we go beyond the little details to connecting with that universal realm. And I'm sure many, many, many of you have had those types of experiences already where you've kind of expanded out to other dimensions and you know what that feels like. Oh, I forgot to mention, so today is going to be a little different because I'm also going to be doing, in addition to the guided meditation, I'd like to actually demonstrate channeling for you. So I'll do a little channeled message, which will be fun. So stage one is relaxation, relaxing the mind. We want to let go of worries and stress. I'm letting go of the technical difficulties of starting the webinar. Thank you, everyone who prayed to your angels to get it going. Thank you so much for helping. We want to move fully into the moment, this moment. What do you feel? What's the temperature where you are? What are the sounds? How does your body feel? We want to let the past and the future dissolve. Just be right here with me right now. And right here with all the other students. It's really pretty amazing that you get to connect like this through the internet, through the webinar, to people from all over the world, all at once. I'd like you each in your heart to just affirm, I am at peace now. Breathe that in deeper. I am at peace now. I am at peace now. When we're at peace, we give up fighting anyone or anything. We surrender to what is. We surrender to the moment. And I want you to affirm, I am going deeper and deeper inside. I am going deeper and deeper inside. I like to do it 3 times. I am going deeper and deeper inside. So today, by the end of the class, I want you to have the experience of going deeper than you have ever gone within yourself, within your own realms, your inner doorway to yourself. And relaxing the mind, it's a feeling of like you're floating. Some people like to imagine a hammock, sitting in the hammock and rocking back and forth. Some people like to imagine being in a bubble, floating in a bubble, free of worries. course, we have to relax the body. The body really, our bodies are amazing. They hold so much energy for us. They are constantly working at relaxing us, at bringing us into a place of balance, bringing us into a place of health, no matter what we put in it, no matter what we do. So we want to really work with breathing deeply into our bodies. And I call this the belly breath. If you put your hand on a baby's tummy, your hand is going to go up and down because that baby is doing a full belly breath. Nice and easy and full. So right now, I want you to just take a couple full belly breaths. And then exhale. One more full belly breath. And exhale. And you see this man here doing his yoga pose on the mountaintop, maybe, looking out over the water. And stretching. And when we stretch our bodies and then relax afterwards, it relaxes our muscles more. This is similar also to alternately tightening and relaxing your muscles. So just take your hands right now and put them in fists and hold them really, really, really tight. And then I want you to tighten your fists and your arms all the way up to your shoulder area, really tight. And let's hold for the count of 5. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then let go. And when you let go, really let go. Really feel your hands just letting go. So when we learn to do that with our body, we do a progressive body relaxation, starting with our toes, maybe, and going all the way up to our heads and our faces. Our bodies relax, and our system slows down, and we move out of sort of a hyper. I think a lot of us move through life, I know I do, kind of in a hyper vigilant state of, I have a lot to do, I have a lot to get done. But when we want to deepen the trance state, we want to relax and let go and tell our bodies it's time to soften. It's time to let down any shields. It's time to go within. It's time to relax. I love to remind my body cells to smile. I have a friend who taught me this meditation where you bring a smile into each part of the body, every organ, every muscle, every tissue, every eyelash. You put a smile in there. And when you do that, you're smiling from the inside out. And when you smile, your body feels happy. And when we feel happy, we're in a more relaxed state. And when we're in a more relaxed state, we can connect to spirit more. It's just so amazing. So if there's anything that you're stressing about, I want you right now for this moment, just say, how important is it? And let it go. And just be right here, right now, in this moment, ready to be open and receptive to your divine higher self, who's really excited, by the way, that you've made this appointment with that amazing part of your being to connect. So the amazing thing is the body's need for oxygen decreases as it becomes more still and your consciousness lifts up from it. So they've done this with yogis, where yogis, they get what's called a very extended, slow breath. And they can live a very long time because their breath is so slow. And not only that, but they can go a long, long time in between breaths. And all the organs in the body slow down, and they enter into this alternate reality, altered state of being. Paramahansa Yogananda has a wonderful book called Autobiography of a Yogi, in which he talks about some of those alternate states of being. And that would be a wonderful resource to tap into. Now, something that can also be helpful for relaxing the body is just a little rocking. And sometimes when I'm going into trance, I actually feel like I need to rock my body. And it's almost as if I'm rocking into my center place, just very gently. And I rock a lot of babies, and I hold babies. And I know when I rock them and I hold them right here on my chest, that they quiet and they calm and they become very still. And they trust. And that's really what channeling's about, is trusting. So you might want to just rock yourself a little. Just rock back and forth. Just very, very gently. Rocking gently. So stage 2 is concentration, focusing the mind. Focusing the mind. I think children naturally focus because they're just doing one thing at a time, but as adults we're often multitasking. We might be answering the phone, we might also be typing something or looking at something else, or sort of doing a few things at once. And I think it's a wonderful skill to be able to do that. Don't get me wrong, I do it all the time. But there's something about being able to really focus on one thing at a time. One thought, one word, one smell if you're smelling a flower. So as we develop our concentration and focus, when this alternate energy, this higher frequency energy of our guides, our higher self, our loved ones, our ascended master teachers and angels, when these amazing beings or entities or beings of light, whatever you wish to call them, come in, we can feel their energy because we're focused. We're really concentrating. When I do a reading for someone, I let go of everything. Everything out there goes, it just disappears, it dissolves. And I go deeply inside to a place of openness and connection. And then I can feel and read the energy, and you can too. So we want to focus all thoughts and energy on the third eye point. That's right between the two eyes, right, between the two eyebrows, right here in the center. And that's where the third eye opens up and the inner vision happens. It's happening all the time anyway. Every time you meditate, it opens more and more and more. And every time you call on a higher source, a higher power, your higher self, that part of you connects and opens. It's a frequency that we tune into. So again, we want to bring awareness to the breath, entering and exiting the nose. This is a very old method in pranayama, which is breathing, sort of a Hindu yogic breath. So I want you to close your eyes for a minute and just feel the breath. You can breathe through both of your nostrils. Feel the breath coming in, and really actually feel the air of the breath coming in. And then when you're ready, hold it for 5, and then exhale, and feel the breath coming out. And bring all of your awareness and all of your focus and attention right there, right to the very, very tip of the nostril. And just feel it. Let's do that again. Holding it for 5, and then exhaling. So when we do a simple practice like that, but we do it regularly, what happens is our ability to quiet ourselves gets easier and easier and easier. It's kind of like when you're learning something new, you have to think about it a lot. If you're learning to play an instrument, or you're learning a language, or you're learning how to do something that you haven't done, perhaps paint in a certain way. And you give it all of your attention and all of your focus. And then once you learn it, it becomes automatic. You can do it. But right now, as we're practicing, bring your attention to the breath. Bring your attention to going deeper and deeper inside. Let yourself concentrate and focus. Oh, sorry. This should actually say stage 3. I'm so sorry. That is a typo. Stage 3. Typing is not my strong point, okay? But I do it for you. That should stay stage 3. That's expansion and opening to the divine. And I love this angel standing there and opening to all these beings of love and light. And that's what we do. We open, 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 open. So feel that. Go beyond concentration. Go beyond the relaxation, beyond relaxation and concentration, and merge back into your own soul, your higher self, your perfect nature. In this place, we get free of all sense of separation. We sit in silence and we connect with our divine higher self. And when we do that, when we come into that place of quiet, really quiet, an amazing thing happens. We're able to hear the sound of our soul. of our highest self, that part of us that loves us completely and unconditionally and wants to guide us and wants to help us and wants to support us and teach us. Because there's nothing else getting in the way. There's just silence. And this is how we reconnect. That's the part of us that is that amazing expansive part. That's where we go past all these lower dimensions and levels and we connect back up with our I like to call it our infinite self. So our infinite self is always there and always available and wanting to connect with us. But it's us taking the time and the practice to really go within. So I have a question here. It says that this person heard that sometimes when people pass over to the other side, that they need some time to kind of go within and move forward on their path. And being that I'm not on the other side, I can't talk directly from that. But what I do know is I think it's a different experience for each individual. Perhaps just as when some babies are born, some babies are like right there looking in your eyes, completely present. And other babies, they don't really want to be here. They're like, oh no, what have I done? I'm here again. And they might just fall asleep or not be present. So I think it's probably more of a personal thing. Some beings might really want to stay around and help to assist the adjustment of their loved ones, and other beings might really need to just let themselves expand out into their next dimension. Remember, on the other side of life, it's very different. They don't follow the same rules. Not the same rules in terms of time and space and dimensions. They can be in many dimensions at once, and know they are, whereas we can be in many dimensions at once, but the way that our human brains are wired is usually, for the most part, we're in one dimension. When we channel, we're in two dimensions. It's a little harder to remember the other dimensions, but we can, and our brains are moving in that direction. So another example of expanding is when this method is when you tune into a great saint or master teacher. So you draw the energy of that saint or master being into yourself. This is Yogananda. I mentioned him earlier. You immerse yourself in the qualities of this master teacher. You become one with them. So what you could do is, if you have a special angel or guide or master teacher that you just adore and you want to sort of emulate them or feel their qualities, you can call on them to sit in front of you. And then feel, like, let's just take Yogananda. We're going to just use him as an example. This is a being who lived on the earth and was a great teacher. And he was able to transmute the body and to be in various places at the same time, more than one place at the same time, and to do a lot of pretty incredible things. He was very devoted to God and to his spiritual self. So I would say that he was here as a luminary to help to illuminate others and to help them to remember their God self, their soul self, their source self, their universal self. I'm always sort of tricky what word to use there because I don't want to offend anyone by what word I choose. I want you to put in your own word, what feels right for you, that unlimited self, the higher self. So let's just, for about 10 seconds, let's just look at his picture and feel the qualities that he's carrying. Okay. The quality that I feel the most when I look at his picture is, there's nowhere to go. This is it. I'm curious if anybody wants to put what they got. But we can get that. We can get those gifts just by tuning into that vibration of that being and sharing some of the teachings and lessons. Compassion. Ah, yes, he does look compassionate. Peace. Oh, a bunch of people got peace. Peace. Yeah, he does look very, very peaceful. Acceptance. And love. Yep. Those are some pretty amazing qualities to embody. And that's what we can do as we tune more and more into our higher self, less and less into our personality self, and actually bring that forth in life. And that's what we can do by channeling. That's why we're deepening the trance state today. So we can be like the master teacher. We can have those qualities. They can be an active part of our lives. Whoa, look at that light. It's so bright. I love that aspect of the infinite. Light, 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 light. So when we hold attention on some aspect of the infinite, whether it's light, I live in Maui. It's sunny here a lot, and a lot of times I just put my arms up to the sun and I say, fill me with light. Pour me out as love. Fill me with light. Pour me out as love. So it's a way that I tune into the light and love that I am. So these qualities, light, love, joy, peace, calmness, sound, that's that inner sound, inner wisdom and power. You can choose one and then immerse yourself in that quality. And when you immerse yourself in that quality, everything else fades. Remember, it's about letting the external fade away and moving deeper and deeper into that place of peace, connection, and presence. So I want you to look at the list, and I want you to choose one of these qualities. And we're going to do a short little meditation. I'll watch the sound for you. And just breathe it in. Feel it. And if you want to just look at the light, you can do that too. Breathe in the light. Okay, do you get that? See how easy it is to tune in? So easy. And it's even easier when we do it all together like this, because all of our energy connects. Wherever we are, our energy is connecting just like that. Increasing inner joy. This is the truest testament to deepening in meditation. If you're feeling happier and more joyful, that tells me that you're doing the inner work, the inner healing work, which we talked about in some earlier classes with the inner child, and you're doing the work about becoming more and more present in your life, because our natural truest nature, I believe, really is to be joyful. So begin to take yourself and life less seriously. I love this picture there. They look happy and they're building a sandcastle and they're at the beach and they're in the moment. So just take note. Think about your life right now. And it's okay if you don't have like an incredibly happy, joyous life. Your life is just sort of okay. That's okay. It can only get better, right? The more you meditate and the more you ask the guides and angels for help, then it's just going to help it get better. But it's up to you to take the time to actually go inside and do some of this work. Now, to deepen the meditative trance state, there's many things that you can do. I love to put on music when I'm going to go into the trance state. It just helps me to relax. It helps my mind to have a focal point. And I would recommend and suggest that that is a possibility for you. So meditation, prayer. We talked earlier in the classes about having prayer, working with prayer, working with the prayer of protection first, working with the banishing prayer first before you go into the channeling state. That's really important. Working with the breath, having the soft music, having pictures of saints and angels. I love to use a shawl of protection, to have that on my shoulders, to put it over my shoulders and to feel safe. It's a way that for many, many years when I first started channeling, I'd always put a shawl on, and no matter where I was, it felt like the cloak of protection, and I was safe, and I could do anything in terms of going into the inner realm. So biofeedback. I do have a biofeedback machine here, and this is a wonderful tool. I'm just going to show it to you. We talked about it in an earlier class. The reason I want to show it to you now is because this particular tool, this is a handheld model, and you would just take the little, here we go. You would just take you hook it in like this, And then there's these sensors that you put on your fingers. And in the earlier class, I told you a really inexpensive model that you could get. And you can also do one on the computer. The reason I'm recommending this for deepening the trance state is because if you're one of those people who really wants to know, am I going deeper, you can use a tool like this, a biofeedback machine, and it will give you the information that you need so that you know. For example, I'm going to turn it on. It's measuring the galvanic skin response. Oh, no, does it not have a battery? Let me fix that battery. All right, here we go. Okay. Can you hear that sound? It's a very high-pitched sound. Okay, I'm going to turn it down a little. But what happens is as you go deeper and deeper into meditation, the sound will change. I'm going to do it manually so you can get, it'll go from very high-pitched lower, 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 and then it'll click a little, and then click, click, click. Can you hear that? And then it'll go down, and it'll shut off. And then what you can do is you can turn the volume, you can turn the balance up, and you can go even deeper. This tool helped me tremendously when I was learning to let go of all the outside noises, and it gave me such a focus and concentration, and I could work with it. And I remember I demonstrated this in front of a college classroom where I went into the trance channeling state with that hooked up to my fingers and went deeper and deeper inside. It was a public speaking class. I remember that now. So I want to just remind you that those tools are available. And the last one is sacred environment. If you create a sacred environment where it invites you into opening your heart, it invites you to get into the peaceful state, that makes it easier to go within. Remember, it's about trusting, and if you feel that you're in a safe place, it's easier to let go and trust. You deserve the best. You are the best. Imagine a great sage, mentor, or luminary who is here to teach you everything you want or need to know. You simply have to tune into that vibration. You are worthy of the attention, time, and wisdom from this great teacher. Here's a little statue of Mother Mary. And I'm just using her as an example of a great saint or master teacher because to me she seems very loving and very wise. And when we tune in, when we tune into their vibration, we get past our own limited ideas of ourselves. So we may have ideas of feeling less than or not good enough, which we talked about before, but letting those go more and more and moving more and more into your divine self. There are three basic types of trance channeling. There's the conscious, the semi-conscious, and the unconscious. And remember, we're moving, and that's what the biofeedback measures. We're moving from the beta, that sort of busy, talk, that's what I'm doing, state, into the alpha state, which is much more peaceful, much more receptive. And then some people go deeper into the delta state, and then theta state, that's like the deep sleep state. So these are just the levels, and the brain waves actually change, and the frequency changes as we change our awareness, as we go deeper and deeper inside. So if you were hooked up to a machine, you would actually see how your brain waves are changing. John Edward, I have his picture again, and he is here because he is a conscious channel, so he can be in a room full of people and get messages. He's still working with his guides, but he's using his own voice. His voice does not change. The channel hears or sees messages and delivers them through their own personality. So he's using his personality. Not that his personality is getting in the way, I'm not saying that, but his personality is delivering the message in his own John Edward kind of way. The voice and mannerisms remain unchanged in conscious channeling. Now, in semi-conscious channeling, this is an example, it would be Esther Hicks. She channels Abraham, a pretty well-known channel around the world, and her voice does change. It gets a little faster and kind of more intense, and they sort of address themselves as Abraham rather than as Esther. This is the kind of channel that I am. I am a semi-conscious trance channel, and that's what I'm going to be demonstrating for you in just a few minutes. The channeler steps aside and opens to the guide, speaking directly and fully through them. Usually the voice is distinctly different from the channel's normal voice. Here's Edgar Casey, and he was an unconscious channel, and he actually got to sleep during his sessions. He had a woman or man who would facilitate the sessions, bring the client in. They would have questions. He would ask, the questions would be asked to him, and he would answer them in the very, very deep sleep state of the third stage of unconscious channeling. So the channel relaxes deeply into a sleep-like state. They merge completely with the channeled entity and guides that they're working with, and is facilitated by another person. I've only met one full trance channel in this lifetime, and her husband facilitated her readings. And you could, well, just being in the room, I could feel the energy was very, very strong. Now, sometimes as we're adjusting to higher frequencies of our guides and angels and helpers, we may have a few symptoms. This isn't to scare you, and you may get none of them, but if you do, there are ways to counteract any of these symptoms. So some of them are nausea, headaches, ringing in the ears, and numbness. These are just a few things, and it means that there's too much energy coming in, and you have to bring in, really working with grounding and bringing in more light. So to counteract, we're going to work with the breath. I love the picture of this tree. You can picture the extra energy, if it's too much, going down the trunk, into the roots, and into the earth. You can ask your guides or angels to step back a little and give you a little more space, opening your energy field, grounding your energy, and opening your heart, so that you can have a really pleasant experience channeling. Deepening the trance process. So know inside, not just believe, but really, really, really know that you can connect with your guides and your higher self, that this is how you're wired, this is what you're made for. And then accept that your higher self and your guides want to help, and you are worthy of their help. You can see this individual, he's kind of got his head down. Sometimes when I'm channeling, my head goes down, and then it'll come back up with the presence of the guides. So I want you to watch how I channel, and you don't have to channel like me. It's just one way out of many, 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 many different ways. We do have the channeling checklist that we went over, and that's a wonderful tool to use. It's also on my website. You have the written and the verbal guidance. And you have perhaps your own special way that you like to channel, where you say a prayer and you make sacred space and you invite in. Now, to channel deeply, you must be relaxed, open-hearted, clear-minded. I'd almost add open-minded as well. Clear-minded and open-minded, filled with light, receptive and loving. That's a lot, huh? So whatever you have to do to get into that state, that's what you have to do. When I'm doing readings for clients, if I was stuck in traffic and I'm rushing there, I do ask them, I need to take an extra minute to center and to clear the space in the room, because I want to give them the very, very best reading that they can possibly get. So I want to be in this space. I want to be relaxed, open-hearted, clear-minded, filled with light, receptive and loving. That is the best place to start any kind of channeled reading session. Tap into the ever-present part of yourself. And again, you know, people call this many different things. Your higher self, your spirit, your soul, all that is, source, God self, wise elder self. We each are a light unto ourselves. That's a quote from the Buddha. We are each a light unto ourselves. So when we channel, we shed that light on our own selves. Now, it's helpful to have questions that you want to ask when you go into that state. We're going to talk about that in a bit. So our guides and higher self want us to be empowered. They want us to listen to our own inner guidance and find the answers within. They want us to learn to trust ourselves and not just be followers. So it's really important when you're channeling, when you're opening to these other dimensions, that you feel, is this being wanting to empower me? Is this master teacher wanting me to learn to listen inside? Are they encouraging my abilities rather than leaning on? If they're in any way encouraging independence, I would recommend disconnecting from them, sending them on their way, and calling a higher level guide. And you can easily do that. We talked about that in some of the other classes. Okay, we're going to do a guided meditation. And then after that, I'm going to give you a little more information about the channeling state. And then I will actually channel for you. So right now, you just get to get comfortable wherever you are. Sitting comfortably, taking a nice deep breath in, I'm going to turn up the music a little. There we go. I want you to look at this picture. You see there's a canoe, and it's by a riverbank. This is a wide river. And I want you to imagine that you're getting into this canoe. It's a blue canoe. And if you're somebody who may have a fear of canoes, you don't have to worry, because this is a non-tippable canoe. It cannot tip no matter what. It's incredibly safe and stable. And there is a paddle in the canoe that you can use. So I want you to just get in the canoe. And I want you to imagine what direction you could go towards those trees over there, or you could come this direction, or you could go out that direction. You can't go towards the shore. This is about paddling out, getting away from shore. Sometimes in life we just have to get away from shore and get a different perspective. So right now, get into the canoe very easily. It's real steady, safe. Have a seat. And then you can just close your eyes and just start paddling the canoe and see what direction you end up going, north, south, east, or west. And feel yourself gliding through the water. And it's so easy. This is the easiest canoe in the whole world that you've ever paddled. You can see there's no current, there's no waves. It's very smooth sailing. Your higher self really wants you to have an easy journey through life. Your higher self really wants you to see the beauty that's all around you. So as you're paddling, you're noticing the sun is setting on the water. And it's just the perfect temperature outside. Just absolutely perfect. And you're paddling and paddling across the river. And as you paddle, you feel the sense of leaving your life behind. Leaving your troubles behind. And you get to just have fun being out in nature. You might even hear the little splish splash of the water, the sound of the paddle as it goes into the water. And just allow yourself to sit in the canoe. And maybe you're hearing some birds around you. You might see a turtle on a log. Perhaps there's some fish in the water. And you're just surrounded by the element of nature. Let nature nurture you right now. Feel this essence of being one with Mother Nature, one with the earth. Now let yourself just paddle a little further and a little further, letting go of your day more and more. Letting go of any connections or any concerns. Just paddling down the river. And as you're going down the river starts to bend. And you just take the bend really easily, really effortlessly. Kind of enjoying that there's a turn in the river. There's some new scenery to look at, new sounds in the water. And it just feels so good to let go, to relax, and to move with the flow of life. And now as you paddle out, you see across this river, it opens up into a lake area. And in the center of the lake, there's a little island. And now you're kind of excited because you see this little island in the center of the lake. And it gives you a destination, a place that you want to go. So just feel yourself paddling, and that feeling of, I'm heading in the right direction. How do you know that? Because it feels right. It just feels right. When we're moving in the right direction in life, it feels right. When we're moving in the wrong direction, it feels wrong. And when we're really tuned in, we know this. We can feel that. And what's so amazing is you're the only one out on this huge, beautiful river that turns into a lake that has an island. And this feeling of being so alone feels pretty miraculous. Because even though you're alone, there's not a loneliness. It's a feeling of being comfortable, being alone with yourself. That you're enough. That your company is enough. That you don't have to share this adventure with anyone. Because you're happy being with you. Giving yourself the gift of serenity. So keep paddling your little canoe through the water. Feel how easily it glides and moves forward. And now bring the canoe right up. There's a little sandy shore on this island. And you can pull the canoe right into the shore and park it there. So you step out of the canoe. You pull it up. Make sure you pull it up high enough so it's not going to drift away, so that you'll have it. And walk up on the shore a bit. And I want you to look down and look at the surface there and see what you see. What does the sand look like? Are there any plants in the sand? Are there any rocks? Are there any seashells? What does it feel like here on the sweet, deserted island? And now walk into the island a bit away from the shore. You can still hear the water kind of hitting up on the shore and lapping, and that's still present for you. But you hear some birds singing. You feel the warmth of the sun on you. And you feel your body relaxing. You feel the sense of, I can just let go. I don't have to be anyone or do anything. I can just relax. So look around and find a tree that looks really comfortable to sit under. And just let yourself go over to that tree. And kind of snuggle up into the tree. And feel the back of yourself, your head, the back of your shoulders and your back being supported by this tree. Just leaning in. Feels so good. And trees carry a very, very peaceful energy. Taking a breath in, and as you breathe in, you can feel the tree is actually happy to have you there. That the tree is feeling your essence as well. There's a sense of mutual admiration, that you're admiring the peacefulness of the tree, and the tree is admiring your adventurousness that you came across the river and the lake right here, right now. And just allow your consciousness to merge with the tree so that you feel what it's like to be this tree on the island in the sun, with many different birds coming and going, but feeling centered in the tree, a peacefulness. And now bring your consciousness back outside the tree and sit leaning up against it, and feel the difference between when you were in the tree and out of the tree. And now looking in front of you, you see a little animal. And see the little animal looking at you. It's a little forest creature that's here on this island. And it's here to greet you. See it looking at you. Now shift your awareness from yourself into that little forest creature and see through their eyes you sitting in front of the tree. Merge your consciousness with this forest creature. And as you do, you see yourself leaning up against the tree. Notice if your eyes are open and shut. Notice if your body's moving or still. And just look at yourself from this little creature's eyes. See that person sitting there by the tree. And now bring your consciousness more fully into the little creature so that the creature and you can feel each other. The creature feels your energy being present with them, and you feel their energy. And there's sort of a mutual comfort, symbiotic connection here, and it feels good. It just feels very good and easy and natural. Okay, and now I want you to bring your consciousness outside of that animal and back to where you're sitting by the tree. Just very easily, let it happen very, very easily. Back, sitting, leaning comfortably up against the tree. And then close your eyes again. Now I'm going to count from 1 to 10, and as I do, in your heart, I want you to invite the greatest master teacher or spirit guide or loved one or infinite being of light that could possibly be here with you now to join you. And you don't have to know who this is. All you have to do is be receptive to being joined by an incredibly loving, very, very special being of light. So just relax. 1. In your heart say, I now call upon 2. The being of light of the highest and best for me right now. 3. Release and let go of anything that might be inhibiting or stopping this process of connection. 4. I am open and receptive. 5. It is with great, great thanks that I now receive the presence and feel some footsteps coming towards you. 6. Feeling the auric field of this being coming towards you, this beautiful being of light, could be an ascended master teacher, an angel, spirit guide, loved one. 7. Opening even more. Feeling a sense of delight and gratitude inside that you're making this connection. 8. Opening up. Rooted and grounded. Happy to be sharing. 9. feel the spirit guide or angelic helper, master teacher, or your higher self reaching their hand out and taking your hand. And 10, let yourself open your eyes and look up and see who this is that's holding your hand. Feel into yourself. Feel what you're feeling. Are you excited? Are you delighted? Are you relieved? Are you nervous? How do you feel about connecting with this infinite being? You are a being of light. Nothing but light can come to you, and nothing but light can be here, and so it is. Now, as you gaze up into the eyes of this beloved master teacher who's come to help you, feel in your heart a humble bow. Namaste, the highest in me acknowledges and bows to the highest in you. And feel that Namaste presence going deep, 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 all the way down to your toes. Now this may be an aspect of your own divine higher self. This may be an aspect of a great being or infinite luminary or teacher. This may be your one channeling guide. But for right now, just gaze into their eyes and feel the love. Nowhere to go, nothing to do. Right here, right now. Now ask this being of light, what is it you need to know right now? What is it you need to know on your path right now? And ask them to bring that forth for you through symbols, pictures, words. And then once you get the picture, see if you can put some words with it. Remember, it's okay to ask clarifying questions. So if you get a message, you can say, okay, what does that mean? Or how can I do that? Or can you help me? And when you ask those type of open-ended questions, you get more answers than just yes, no. There may be some yes, no questions that you want to ask, but for now, ask these open-ended questions. Now I'd like you to give thanks to this infinite being of love. Thank them for coming to see you, to shower their love on you, their presence. See if there's anything else that they want you to know in terms of your life. Any decision that you're making, any change that you're making. Is there any words of wisdom or guidance that they want to offer to you? Feel that really deeply now. Just allow it to go in. Feel yourself smiling inside to see them and to know that they're available. Feel that you are one, that they're always available. You don't have to take this journey to connect with them, but you can. So let them know now that you're going to be getting back into your little canoe, but that you're taking their teachings with you. You're taking their love with you. You're taking their inner guidance and wisdom with you. And now get in the canoe. I'm going to count from 10 to 1. 10, 9. Go ahead and start paddling out. Feel the water. Coming back into this river. 8. Coming back more fully. Coming across the lake into the channel of the river. 7. Feeling refreshed. Feeling happy that you've made this connection. 6. Coming back more and more. 5. Coming back even more, noticing the sounds, the sights around you. Coming back. 5, 4, 3, coming back to the shore. 2, almost back. And now parking the canoe right there by the shore. 1. And this is a special canoe because it doesn't tip. You can easily get out by yourself. And stand on that shore. And now send your grounding cord down to the center of the earth. Nice strong grounding cord all the way down to the center of the earth. And then come completely back right here, right now. Hearing my voice. Hearing the sounds in the room. And holding in your heart this beautiful connection with your guide and your higher self. It's always there. I could really feel the energy. You guys definitely went deeper than before. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. So again, you want to always keep a journal to write down any messages. And put that near you. Take a minute now, if you'd like to write down a message. We're going to go into the next part of our class today, which is we're reviewing the channeling process. Now remember, you do have a channeling checklist that I have recommended, and is in the other classes, and you have your own method. I'm just going to do a quick review, and then I'm going to go into the channeling state and do a message for you. So number 1, set the intention for your space to be sacred. Wherever you are, if you're sitting outside, if you're sitting inside, if you're sitting in an office, if you're sitting in a bedroom, if you're sitting in a radio station, a TV studio, wherever it is, doesn't matter. I've channeled in many, many, many places. You make it sacred. You use the light. You use your deepest intention. You want to clear yourself and fill with light and love. You want to have your questions handy. All right? So you want to have your questions handy. So I guess if there's a question that you want to ask Hoya, my guides are going to be coming in. You could type that in the chat box right now. And this is going to be a new process for me, having Hoya actually read some semi-conscious trance channel. We'll see if it works. I don't know if it'll work or not, but we'll give it a try. I know the channeling will work in terms of reading that. So if you have a question about channeling and your process that you would like to ask, that would be wonderful. Have pen and paper or a recorder, a digital recorder, and nowadays we can of course use our smartphones or cell phones. You can record right on them, which makes it really, really easy as well. Do a prayer of protection and banishing first. So in the name, remember, in the name that is above every other name, I banish from this space all seeds of sickness and evil. I cast them out of its aura and away where they shall trouble not the seekers of truth now and forever. Amen. And just a review of the prayer of protection. Beloved Mother, Father God, Infinite Spirit, we come to you in love. We ask to be filled, surrounded, and protected by the light of the Holy Spirit. We ask to lift beyond earth into areas of absolute truth. We ask that that which is most needed by these souls be brought forth in this time. I ask to be a clear channel for God's love, light, truth, healing, and blessing. We stand believing. Thank you, Mother, Father, God, Infinite Spirit. We're going to relax and breathe deeply. Even though we just did a meditation, breathe deeply with me now. Breathing in, breathing out. Always remember to scan your body, because if you're getting questions of in terms of someone's body or what's going on, it helps to know what's going on in their own body first. So just do a little body scan starting at the top of the head, all the way through to the feet. In any places where it might feel a little tight or a little stiff, you might wiggle a little, get comfortable, send light in. Then we invite our guide, our higher self or master teacher to come in. I'm going to be working with Hoya today. Hoya is my council of 5 guides that I've been working with since 1988. Very loving, very wise. The first guide is a Native American. The second is an angelic guide. The third guide is a galactic guide. The fourth guide is a fairy guide. The fourth guide is, their last lifetime was in India as an Ayurvedic doctor. And the fifth guide is a fairy guide. Okay, we have a couple questions. We'll see if we can get to them during the channeling. Then you want to allow, after you invite your guide in, you want to allow your personal self to dissolve. You want to merge with the loving energy of the spirit guide or higher self. So what I'm going to do, and because I go pretty deep in channeling, is I am going to set a timer to bring me back. I'll have you guys ask a question. If there's some more questions you want to type in there. Again, we'll receive the answer, clarify the message if necessary, record or write the answer, ask more questions. And at the end, we always want to offer thanks before we disconnect. Always thanks. And let them know that we want to work with them. And then grounding the self. This is, and when I say squeezing thumbs, this is from my dear friend, Robert Dubio. You put your fingers together like this and you squeeze, and it brings you back into your body. I also like to do this one where we put the fingertips together and the arms like this around, creating a circle. So you can do it whatever way feels good for you. Okay. Here we are. We're going to do a channeling demonstration with Hoya. So I'm going to walk my way through, getting grounded. I am one with all the love in the universe, and I am rooted and grounded. Remember the infinity loop? I am one with all the love in the universe, and I am rooted and grounded. 3 times I do it. I am one with all the love in the universe, and I am rooted and grounded. And now I'm going to put a little box under my chair. That's for any worries, any thoughts, anything that might take me out of this present moment. I'm just going to put that box under there. Now I'm scanning my body. I like to have my feet nice and flat on the floor. My spine straight. Nice deep breath. So when I start the channeling state, I like to say a prayer for each of you, that which is most needed for each of you will come forth in this time. That way I can just let go and relax and allow the message to come through. So I'm already beginning to feel my guides coming into the top of the room. And then I invite them to come right to the edge of my aura. And then before I have them come in, I want to ground really well down to the center of the earth. Fill the room with light. Fill my heart with light. Okay, now I'm going to set the timer so I can relax and let go. You guys can just relax and do a little meditation with me as I go inside. Greetings to you, beloved ones. It is with much, much joy that you come to in this time. And so as we are looking at you energetically, we are very excited to see the openness that is occurring in the crown chakra. For that is where you make the connection with your divine higher self. And we are very happy to be seeing this synchronization of your energy with that of the divine. Now, people often think that when they go out of their body at the end of the lifetime, they go through a tunnel and they merge into light, yes? Well, it is sort of like that for us, coming from the other dimension of light into this dimension. It feels to us as though we take our consciousness and we go into a tunnel and then we come out on this side and we get to be with you. And it is with great appreciation that we come to share with you, for it is in the transmission of love that we get to share. And we know that each of you in your heart are in a place of wanting to love more fully, or you would not be wanting to be on this path of being psychic or intuitive or opening to your divine inner nature. You could be out, playing golf or riding a horse or doing many other things, and yet here you are, opening. So already the seeds have been planted in your consciousness for this type of acceleration of the understanding of the other dimensions into this third dimensional reality, that you have already done all of the preparation work, and now it is time to do the actual transmission. So the way that it is best to do that is to feel that you are a finely tuned instrument from the very best maker in the world, which is the divine. The divine has made you exquisitely, perfectly, just exactly as you are, so that you can receive these frequencies of love. That you are like the most finely tuned. You know how they have different types of instruments for recording and for microphones and things of this nature, and some are of a higher quality than others? You are of the highest quality. Your ability is very finely tuned. Sometimes you have to just turn up the volume. If you're not hearing your guides loud enough, imagine in your mind that you can take a little knob and turn it up and say, talk to me a little louder. You see, we don't want to intrude on you, and we don't want to be rude and speak so loudly and disrupt your meditative state. We do want to connect with you. We do want to share our love with you. So imagine that volume, and then if there is something you are not understanding, please just simply ask a question. Oh, we are getting that there is a question. We shall see. It says, I have not a question, but just saying I am so happy that my guide is seeming closer and more available to me. Yes, so your guide is coming closer. Well, your guide was always there, but you are coming closer to your guide. You see, the guides never go anywhere. They are always available. But it is you bringing your essence, your presence, and your awareness into that wavelength. I have been wanting this, but it seemed that he was being a bit hands off. Now closer. Oh, bit hands off. Your guide was hands off. You know, your guides don't want to scare you, and they don't want to get in your way. They will never make a decision for you. They do allow you to make your own decisions. Some of them wonderful, and some of them maybe not quite so wonderful. But they allow you this is called free will. So it is when you have your open heart and you come and you are really ready and you are tuning into that frequency that they can meet you and greet you. And the two of you then learn. Have you ever ridden, what is it, something that takes synchronization, like a bicycle for two? You get in tune, one pedals the front and one pedals the back, and off you go down the road. Now, if one gets very unbalanced, the bicycle does tip, but hopefully the one in the front who's steering can keep it on the road. And that is sort of the feeling of you working with your guide. Your guide is coming from this, we want to call it the invisible realm, because it is invisible to you, but it is not invisible to us. But because it is invisible to you with your third dimensional eyes, this is the realm of spirit into this dimension. You are the one in this dimension who actually has the ability to make choices and to make decisions about what you want, where you're going, how are you going to spend your time, who are you going to spend your time with. If you give a little bit more heart, not thought, notice we are not saying give more thought to what you do, we're saying give more heart to what you do. When you put more heart into whatever you are doing, whether you are working on a term paper, whether you are working on drinking tea, or whether you are working on a great portrait, it's the heart that you bring into it that makes the difference in the long run in the quality of your life. So whether you are doing menial work like scrubbing walls or changing the oil in somebody's car, we don't think it's menial, but we're just using that as an example of that is considered menial and third dimensional. Or whether you are doing the most expanded work, you are working as a great teacher and a facilitator for a great enlightenment program, it's the love and the heart that you bring. So sometimes people on the spiritual path, what happens is they do a lot of study, they learn many, many techniques, they learn many, many methods for enlightenment. But they are not very light. They are sort of heavy, and there is a heaviness in their energy, and it is because they are thinking, they are trying to think their way to God. We will use the word God rather than to open their heart to merge with God. So it is in the getting out of the mind and becoming much more simple, much more open, much more trusting, that your guides can indeed connect with you and help you with any little issues that you might be having. Your guides are not too busy, but again, they don't want to step on your toes with what you are doing. So they will respect you. So before we go, we do wish to thank each and every one of you for being willing to step out of the mold of who you thought you were, to become the greatest vision of who you ever imagined you could be and beyond. For your higher self has a great plan for you. Keep your faith, keep your trust, keep your hope. And when it feels as though it has diminished, find someone else who's carrying those vibrational frequencies, who's living that in their life, so that they can help to ignite your spark again. Because there are times when people get like a wet match. You know, a wet match will not light. That is, they get too filled with their emotions. They get too filled with their story of their life, their drama of what they are going through, and their inner light becomes dim. But if you can, use this example of putting the matches out to dry, then after they dry, they can be relit. And sometimes it simply takes being around someone else whose light is very bright. So don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to seek a teacher who is of good heart, who cares about you and humanity and the earth and all of the dimensions. And in this way, your light, that ever bright light that is you, can shine through you, through your eyes, through your words, through your hands. Most of all, through your beautiful, beautiful heart. You have been wired for love. Let yourself love. So we do wish to fill you, each and every one of you, with love. And light. And many, many blessings. May you walk in love. May you live in peace. May you know light, a lightness of being. Namaste. So now as I come back into my body, I immediately notice my feet. And what really helps me is to rub my feet on the floor. So I'm rubbing my feet right now on the floor. And I'm feeling my legs. And I'm going to pat my legs gently, gently. Pat my body, my spine, my arms, my face, my head. I'm going to put my fingers together in my hands like this. Grounding. Fingertips together over my heart. My arms like this together. Great. Okay, let's go to our next line. Let's see what we have. Thank you for those that commented. Oh, suggested reading. Look at, we're going all the way back to the book I first started with, Opening to Channel. That is just such a winner of a book for channeling. It's by far, for me, I would say, the easiest to read and use manual for Opening to Channel. Answers all those little bitty questions that you might have. It certainly will help to fill in any gaps that I may be leaving in this program. Opening to Channel by Samaya Roman and Dwayne Packer. Ask and it is given. This is a channeled piece of material by Esther Hicks and with the help of Jerry Hicks, who's now on the other side, who's working with her from the other side. And it's called Learning to Manifest Your Desires. It's not about channeling, but it talks a little bit about how she started in the channeling process. So I thought it would be interesting for you to see. And if you can do a video of Esther, that would be great. Bringers of the Dawn, Teachings from the Pleiadians by Barbara Marciniak. This is a great volume. Bringers of the Dawn. There's so many beings of light and love that want to help us from so many different realms. And this will give you another perspective. It'll help to open up your mind to different ways of viewing things. So I invite you to check that book out. Now, Seth Speaks. This is an old classic favorite. This was around in the 70s when I was just beginning on my spiritual path. And it's the Eternal Validity of the Soul by Jane Roberts. She was a classic channel, and she was sort of the one in the forefront of all this new movement of channeling. So we want to just really thank her, and this book will give you a lot of information. Here is a link that I am going to queue up on the video. Remember, you can go back to any of these classes. Once you've registered, you can go back to these classes and you can do the exercises, the meditations. You can write down the homework. That this is actually The Vortex. This is a book that Esther and Jerry wrote, but this is a little excerpt from the YouTube on The Vortex. So I want to recommend that you go there as well. Okay, here's our homework. So watch the YouTube video on channeling. Practice channeling. You really got to practice. Remember, it's just Like swimming, you got to get in the water. You have to do it. Get a channeling buddy. Get a meditation buddy. Get a buddy that you can do readings for. It's much easier to do that than to do it for yourself, honestly. And then if you feel that you're going to be colored by their personal life, get somebody that you don't know and practice with them. And if you already have your practice going, deepen your practice. All of these tools, all of these exercises and meditations that I've given you, you can use in your practice. You can deepen your ability to be the best psychic that you can be, so that one day nobody's ever going to need a psychic. We're all going to be so psychic. We're all going to be so tuned into our higher selves. There won't even be the need for a psychic. But in the meantime, you can be the best psychic you can be, and you can help them in their development. So in that book, Opening to Channel, Chapter 7, there are some questions of a universal nature. And so if you have a Kindle, you'll need to go to Chapter 7 and look up universal nature. I think it's page 88 or 89 if you're actually in the hard copy of the book, the old-fashioned way of reading the book. And I'd like you to go into the channeling trance state. I'd like you to record those questions onto a digital recorder or your phone or whatever you want to record them on. And then when you're in that deep state, ask those questions and record those answers. And again, practicing doing readings, and love to have you look up the michaelteachings.com. This book is it's based on a book called The Michael Teachings, and it's how to channel your higher self meditation. There's a whole guided meditation in there that you can look up. And there's also information about soul ages, which I think will be really useful for you, particularly if you're doing readings for other people, that you get a sense, is this an old soul? Is this a young soul? Is this a baby soul? Is this a mature soul? It just gives you a tremendous amount of information about soul ages, and also about the soul tasks, which we talked about a little bit in another class, the different hats that people wear in life. So that's a great resource as well. So in summary, today we reviewed the homework, we answered some questions. Please continue to send your questions to me. I love to get them. We learned about deepening the trance state and reviewed channeling. And this is a reminder, practice, practice, practice. I also, I want to let you know that I do teach classes privately. If you feel that you really want to go deeper, I can do some private classes with you, and that will help you. I do them on Skype, so it's fun. We get to see each other. So next week is going to be a really power-packed class. This is using tools such as cards. For example, there's Doreen Virtue's angel cards, pendulums, psychometry, and dowsing. So, and you might want to have some of those tools handy. If you have some, put them by your area where you're sitting, and have them handy for next week, class number 14, tools, cards, pendulum, psychometry, and dowsing. And here's just a quote for you on your way. I want to thank you, each and every one of you, for being here and sharing in this way. This is from Sanea Roman and Dwayne Packard's book, Opening to Channel. Your ability to concentrate and achieve one pointed attention upward is what allows a clear connection with your guide. So whatever you're going through this week, take the time to go within. Take the time to focus upward and inward. And see how your perspective changes. See how the answers come. See how the decisions unfold and the confidence builds. You can do it. I know you can. I'm going to thank you and have a beautiful and blessed week.